The Problem for Al Gore. August 27, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. Al Gore famously lost the presidential election in 2000 and has been whining and accusing the Republicans of stealing the election ever since. Sound familiar? Every time the Dems lose, it's the same sad story. If the Republicans did steal anything from Al Gore, it's a miracle worthy of investigation by the church, because both the Diebold Voting Machines and the international unions that service these machines are owned and operated by Democrats. Lock, stock, access codes, and programming. Go figure? And, which party is it that is stubbornly refusing to accept the results of a transparent blockchain election? Well, go figure again, it's not the Republicans. But quite aside from all that, if Al Gore has court-quality proof that the 2000 election was stolen from him, the only recourse is a retrial. And the only way to do a retrial is another election against George W. Bush. Not Donald Trump. I think that we can all see the problem with that. And at long last, we can see the method to the Democratic Party madness of putting up a Biden-Harris ticket. The actual candidate has just appeared. Al Gore, supported by the British-influenced U.S. Navy and the Russell Gould psyop, with everyone involved conveniently forgetting that they lost their contracts. And also forgetting that the Pope's cover has been blown 6 ways to Sunday. The Pope controls both sides in any such conflict. It's all completely rigged. He, Francis, owns the Electoral College, Incorporated. Yes, they unlawfully converted that, too. So who is really at fault if a presidential election is crooked? The Pope. The popular vote doesn't count in a presidential election. Never has. So we could have all spared ourselves the insanity of the infamous Florida Chads. I will never forget some nameless Diane Sawyer wanna-be crying her eyes out in the rain, mascara running down her cheeks, a handful of shreds of wet yellow ballot paper in her hand, sobbing about how the votes of some Americans weren't counted in the 2000 election. I wanted to reach through the screen of my television and slap her on both cheeks, hard. I wanted to scream, the popular vote never counts. And this isn't an American election, so why in blazes are Americans voting in a meaningless foreign straw poll? Are you crazy? Are we all crazy? And this is all that you worthless excuses for journalists can talk about. Reminds me of Now and the idiots pushing Russian collusion and mail-in ballot tampering. Francis directly owns the municipality of Washington, D.C., the municipal government, and all the municipal corporations, and tells all the federal civil service and illegal federal agencies how high to jump. Francis also, through the Queen acting as his overseer of the Commonwealth, owns and operates the territorial United States government known as the district government. So Francis owns and controls both sides of any potential conflict, and both sides are our employees, here under contract to serve us. He has already been told in front of God and the UN Security Council and the Joint Chiefs and NATO that if he starts anything on our shores again, he and his precious Vichy French UN Corp are going to get the bill plus very fat damages of $1 trillion in gold for each dead American and every U.S. citizen or citizen of the United States born on American soil. He has already been told that we don't allow our employees to fight on our land. We'll charge the Holy Roman Fourth Reich up the wazoo in unavoidable commercial charges plus damages. And nobody will blame us. Because now everyone knows who is at fault if there's any civil war here. The Pope. So, there you go. Another can't get there from here, and as we've said before, observe the modus operandi. They find a one-trick pony and ride it till it drops dead, and then they beat it for another 20 years like Al Gore, or they try to come up with something similar to what they've already done, like trying to latch onto our DNA the same way they latched onto the afterbirth material. And through it all, like a group of professional mourners, they wail and weep and accuse everyone else of doing precisely what they are doing themselves. Al Gore and Nancy Pelosi and the British-influenced U.S. Navy and all the nasty little psyop venues better come up with something better than a sad tall tale about Al Gore winning the popular vote and losing the election in 2000. Because that is just going to provoke one hellacious worldwide discussion about the Pope owning the Electoral College, Inc., and also about him controlling both political parties, and also the fact that the popular vote for president never counts for jack diddly anyway. And let's just cut to the chase. The only collusion to decide the presidential elections since 1860 has been between the Pope and the Queen or King of Britain. Any illusions that the presidential offices being elected are public offices, like any pretense that these are American elections or American public offices, have to be debunked. Any idea that the popular vote for these presidential offices counts now or ever, including in 2000, needs to be debunked. And the blame for all this gross mismanagement, dishonesty and deceit needs to come home and roost with those responsible for it. The Pope and the British monarch.